Zoom this in just a little bit. That's good. What's up? What's up? How's it going? What's going on in here? We're going to be unboxing the Anycubic P1 today. The Anycubic Photon P1. So let me get my mic set up here. That way you guys should be able to hear me a little bit better. Check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2, check, check. There we go. That's much better. Looks like a good machine. I agree. It's a very interesting machine. So we'll see how it goes. But we're going to give it a couple minutes here and let some people in here. Go on, pups. Go on. Let's move this over to here. I'll move this over here. I'll move it over here. And that over here. So now you guys can actually see me. There we go. That's a little better. I have so much equipment around here, and my room is an absolute disaster down here. Because, well, I haven't really been down here much, so. Where I last had some things, hey, it is what it is. Nice, man. I just picked up the Photon Mono M7 Max. I've heard pretty good things about those. My last Anycubic printer was a little excuse me, discouraging, disappointing. It was the Anycubic M7 Pro, and you know, I heard a lot of mixed reviews about it, and they sent it to me to test out and do a review on, and yeah, I didn't have good results with it. Now, the Anycubic Photon M7, the non-Pro version, I heard wonderful stories about, but the M7 Pro, not so much. So we'll see. This is their newest one with the latest technology into it. So this is about a $500 machine just by itself. I'll be honest, I don't know what Anycubic has sent me. Obviously, I see a machine, I see some resin, but I have no idea what's in this long box and what's in this big box. My only guess is that this has the build plate and the separators for the vat to do dual colors and dual material. And this is probably a wash and cure machine, which, to be in all honesty, I personally don't really need it, but we'll showcase it just because, hey, they sent it to us. I use a much larger wash and cure setup down here because, well, I have very large resin printers down here. So I kind of need those. So yes, welcome in. If you guys can, you know, go ahead and share this out. You know, we are also live on YouTube as well. And if you're here on YouTube, we are on TikTok. So, woohoo, shiny. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, so we'll give it a couple more minutes. But yeah, so for those who don't know what's been happening in the in my world, at least. So the reason why I got sent this machine, I mean, normally I get sent machines all the time, but this one is the start of a different type of journey. So starting the new year, I decided to sign on with a well-known hardware magazine called Tom's Hardware. And essentially, I will now be doing their resin articles, so to speak, for Tom's Hardware. So if you see anything about resin, 3D printers, resin in general, I will be the one doing those type of reviews, information, whatever it may be. So yeah, that's very, very cool. It's a different step in a direction. I'm used to doing more vocally reviews than I am typing out. This one will actually be my first real typed out review. So hey, we'll see how it goes. I'm here for all the constructive criticism that you guys have, you know, be it good or bad. And yeah, so let's check what's going on in TikTok land. What's the dual printer you have then? So technically I just have the X1 Carbon. That's the only dual printer I have. So big fan. What's up, Ben? Hey, more printers. Yeah, just what I need, more printers. I actually have 2 more printers just to the right of me to do some reviews on. I have the new Creality printer. Well, it's newer. That is the... it's a Pio Next or Pio Create printer, actually. But it is a Creality printer and it's well-being. And I also have the Uniformation GK3. I believe that is the T model. It's kind of like the lower end model. So we'll see how that goes. So where's my... There it is. Apparently, I am losing my balance because, yeah. So yeah, like I said, for those who are new, just joining in, I will start doing reviews for Tom's Hardware. So before we get to the machine, we're gonna check out what the other boxes are, and then we will get the ball rolling on this. So yeah, without further ado, let's check the chat really quick, and then we'll go and get running here. So what's up, 3D Medic? How's it going? Long time no see. You need a resin sorting machine for the top of your rack, with a touchpad. I use Google Docs, actually. I've always wanted to try Uniformation. In my opinion, Uniformation is probably one of the best printers out there. I think their new models are not as impressive as their previous models. I'm not a big fan of the GK3s. The GK3 Ultra is probably the last printer that I will probably enjoy from them, because they are now marketing as a cheaper printer and the quality is just a step down. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the resin printer, whatever this may be. So I'm gonna take this down really quick, the star of the show, and we'll get to that and save the best for last, right? Who knows? Maybe these are the best. We shall never, ever know. By the way, box cutting safety. Always make sure that you are cutting away from yourself and never towards yourself. So that way you do not end up having a problem, an issue, whatever it may be. So, first box that they sent us looks like that's a big, huge thing of foam. So this is the hood? What in the... That's a strange... The hood comes separate from the printer? That's a new one to me. Okay. All right, so we'll set that off to the side. That's very, very odd. That's just, yeah, I don't really know what to say with that. This obviously is going to be our resins. I did ask for 2 different types of resin. They're basically 1 kilo each of resins. And what we got here is a, well, it doesn't really tell me what it is, but I believe these are the Pro resins that I got from them. So we'll set these off to the side so we can use them a little bit later. And then we'll see what's going on this one. Okay, looks like this is just packed with stuff. Okay. One box, some packing stuff, and another box. It's boxes within a box within a box. Okay, so looks like this is Anycubic dual material print kit. So this is the pièce de résistance. This is the gem of the entire thing. All right. So looks like we have the dual build plates. So these have some special etching on it. So for those who wanted to see up close. TikTok land here. So this is a very, very light metal, probably an aluminum plate, more or less. We have our user manual kit. Looks like this is going to be one of the vats. Okay. Plastic vat. Okay. Not terrible. I've definitely seen worse vats, so not the end of the world. And then the other vat is attached to the actual kit for using this, so it tells you which side you actually unlock here. So let's kind of show this up front here. So this is the unlocking part for those who wanted to know about how it locks in and locks out of place. So there you go. And that's how you lock the vats in there. So let's put this off to the side. Put that there. Put these boxes in there. And let's see what this is. So this is the hollow steel build plate. So I think this is an upgrade or a change if you wanted to. So this is a perforated build plate. Now this has got some weight to it. So I will tell you that the base itself is very, very light, but the plate is very, very heavy. Like this is probably a good pound, maybe 2 for this plate. So this definitely comes with both of the kits that we need to. So these are both upgradable kits for those who are looking at the Kickstarter. I'm sure down the line they will be available to purchase, you know, just on their store. But as of right now, they are complete upgrade kits. So just to give you an idea and an understanding, the Anycubic P1 is currently for sale or on Kickstarter right now as just a printer. So just a normal everyday resin printer with some new tech on it. And then the upgrade dual kit is an add-on, as well as the perforated plate is also an add-on piece. So let's get this up out of the way really quick. And we'll get this bad boy up and running. Yeah. Okay. Let's take a nice little sip there. Alrighty. So, inside of this box, we have a little tiny box That comes with our USB stick. Looks like wet wipes, some Allen wrenches, and the typical plastic stirring stick. We have our user manual. Looks like a power cord, some gloves and filters, and a nice little spatula. This is a very nice spatula, actually. It's got a nice edge on it. Very, very thin. That is a key component to resin printing and making sure that you can remove your prints very easily. So let's put that off to the side here. Again, I'm still kind of dumbfounded about the hood. Unless they sent me an extra hood. Which it looks like it. Okay. That's fine. I'm not sure why they do that. Maybe they're worried that it wouldn't come to me in one piece. I'll be honest, I think I've had one resin printer in my entire time of doing this, the last 7-8 years, where a resin printer came broken, at least the hood came broken on it. So let's tip this bad boy on its side. And there we are, all set up. No, I'm just joking. So this says remove printer bag by lifting bag. Well, we're just gonna slide it out as best as we can. We should be able to. There we go. Alrighty. I guess I should really get like a new setup for my room, huh? Okay. Let's stop and check chat here really quick. Alright, so the updated the hood, what I've seen so many be the replacement possible. What kind of upgrade, like with the lights? I'm not sure. So, now I'll be honest, they did send me some documentation the other day. I just kind of opened it a quick second and I didn't really read it too much. So we'll have to look at that when we get this all unboxed and set up and printing. So I wonder what's up with that. Very curious. So very, very nice packaging. They definitely over packaged this thing, which is great. Make sure that it gets all of the parts to you in one piece. A lot of nice peeling. Ooh, yeah. Get that little ASMR stuff in you. Come on, you can do it. Ready? I failed at that. Alrighty. So, this is the bad boy all in its glory. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of digging the new look of this. It's very sleek. Very machine-like. I dig it. I'm someone who likes black. I like dark things, so. Ooh. Very, very nice. Okay. So I showed you guys the perforated build plate. This is the normal build plate that comes with it. So this is a standard build plate. Weight-wise, it's about the same. And oddly enough, there is instructions it kind of engraved in it. That's very interesting. Now, my personal opinion, one of the reasons why I like one of the printers that I use is the build plate does not allow the resin to go up above it. I wish that was the same with all of the resin printers that are made nowadays. But hey, beggars can't be choosers, and I understand that's kind of a premium option for a lot of people, and it does cost quite a bit to have stuff like that. So I get it. You know, you can't always get what you want. So I am noticing that there's no power brick for this. So one of the things that I've always had a gripe about with resin printers is the fact that they come with a laptop style power brick. I never understood why, in this day and age, why couldn't we start integrating power supplies into it and just make our lives a lot easier and just use a regular old power cord like we do with any other 3D printer, you know, an FDM printer. Well, this one actually comes like that. So we only need a regular power supply to power this resin printer, which is very, very nice. I like this a lot. This is one of the things, like I said, I have been wanting to become a standard thing on a resin printer, and this one does. Lots of the Creality machines have them right out of the factory. Why, again, most of the ones took a while to get to it, I don't know, but hey, we're here already. So I am going to turn this around and show you guys some nifty things on the back here. So we do have a fan outlet here, and it looks like this comes off in some sense. We'll have to take a look at it a little closer, but I'm guessing this is access, so if you need to fix anything on the back of this, you can get in the inside. And then also we have a nice little fan port. And unlike most of the resin printers that I see, you know, they just kind of have like a basic generic fan port. This looks like it might be proprietary and something kind of just locks in there. So I wonder if Anycubic actually has like an option to have their own specific hosing for that. Or maybe we can have a design where, you know, you can basically create your own fan port for it, because it does look very nice on that. So we'll have to check that out and see how it is. But let's plug this bad boy up and see how this is. There we go. Let me turn off this power system. There we go. Sorry, I had my battery backup plugged in there because I was testing some things out. But so it looks like, you know, there's no power on here. So this is vastly different. There is a power switch on the side here. There's no power on and off. There's no power on-off switch. It's just a power switch. Do we hold this down? There we go. So in typical Anycubic fashion, you got to hold it down a little bit until it comes on. So it's an upgraded hood. Uniformation has a normal power cable. The GK3, I believe, does, at least the Ultra. The GK2 does not, I don't think. So, looks like we got a bunch of green lights, red lights, so looks like we have our adapter and everything. I see some heat sinks in there. Let's take a look and see what this is and how it is. Ah, we got some chat over here. Sorry, I've been... you may have a unit with the prototype hood, and the upgraded hood may have been sent separately. It's possible. Yeah, I'll have to ask them and see. But let's take a look at that and see what if there's some difference in it. So we do have wet wipes. That's obviously to clean it as best as we can. But I don't know what they would need to upgrade this for. It looks the same to me. Maybe it's just an extra hood or something. That's for the handle. I don't see any difference in it, to be honest. Unless the hinge is upgraded, which is a good possibility. I can't really see that part. But I don't know. I'll have to ask them and see what's going on with that. So it's very interesting. I don't know. So we'll have to see and ask them what's going on with that. So yeah, I think they have an exhaust with the fan and everything. Oh, cool. So that's even better. Let me move this down. I'm sorry, guys, for the loud noises. There we go. It's a little better. All right. I'm going to try and get down on my knees here. When you call my name. All right. So we have, bring you guys over here. So we have English. We're going to choose, please select a server address. So we have global or China. Obviously, we're going to do global. Initial startup and first launch. We're going to open this because I want to try and raise the Z axis and get this up. So we're going to go to start, lifting the Z. Continue. Okay, so I can see that this has a an upgraded lead screw. It's not as predominant as most of the lead screws, but it's still a nice lead screw. All right, so it says this is 1 of 4, so it's going to raise it to the top. We're going to get our axis homing. Okay. All right, it is homing completed. All right. We're going to install the build platform. So one of the things I want to point out is this has a very unique locking system. So in the past, usually there's a knob that you turn down. I never really liked those. In the industrial space, there is just a lock. That's all it is. And that's exactly what this is. You just pull this tab up, slide this bad boy on, and it locks down. Super simple, nothing overcomplicated. You don't have a knob that gets all gobbed up with resin, because I can't tell you how many times I touch a resin piece and the top gets all done up with resin, whereas this is all metal. So this is very easy to clean. There's no plastic parts, nothing degrades. So I like this a lot. So install parent platform. Install resin vat. The vat is already installed, but I can see that there is protective film on the bottom and on the print screen here. So as you can see, I just undid these locks. So again, different style locks on the vat. These are side channel locks. I like these new designs that everybody's going with where, again, there's no more screws anymore. You're not losing screws inside of vats and things like that. You don't have to worry about them falling out. The vat locking system is set on the printer itself. So we have a metallic vat, it seems like. And I believe this is a auto refill system or possibly a heating system. There is some element on the back here, on the back left, which might be one of the two. Oh, there we go. Ooh, yeah. All right, so we're going to remove this and that. Please tear off the protective film. So one of the strange things that I see right now is a different type of film that is protecting the glass and the LCD screen. So normally, we would just have a regular type of protective film, okay? Just like your phone screen has a protective film. Same thing here, but this is textured. So I can't really explain it, but just saying that word textured, it literally has pits all over it. And I don't know if that's to help with releasing. That sounds correct. It's a very interesting way of doing it. So I'm very interested to see how this works and how well it works, if that's the case. Because that like light bulbs in my head thinking about that. So that's very, very interesting how that is. I mean, there's still the protective film around the corner edges of the LCD screen, but yeah, there's a textured screen on top of this, or a protective film that's textured. So let's go ahead and put this back on here. So is there like a weird way? Okay, there. So this is magnetized in here. It's not like super magnetized, but enough to like let you know where things need to go. So that's kind of nice. It's a little weird to get used to because I'm used to having some sort of a nub and it slide and lock into there. But magnetizing systems have been around for a little bit. I do have a printer that's like that. It's just been a while since I've seen something like it. So yeah, let's go back to the install setup. So we installed the vat, we did everything else, and now it's asking for us to pour resin. So let's take out one of our resins that we got and use that. Of course, they have to put so much tape on these things. I get it, but good God. All right, so looks like they sent me standard resin. I know I did ask for pro resin, but hey, it is what it is. Beggars can't be choosers. Now, this is white resin, so we'll use a good amount of this. This is just white standard resin, but obviously, before we do anything with resin, we're going to take our nice little gloves here. We're going to put these on. And obviously, they do come with a couple pairs, so you can use them. And they're probably going to be insanely huge on me, as they always are. And I'll be honest, I don't like these gloves one bit. They tear super easily. So that's why we're going to use them and get rid of them really quickly, because I use some heavier duty gloves. 3 mil thick is what I always say. Always use those. So, all right. Of course. Okay. All right, so there is a max fill line on there. We're just going to fill it up just a little bit so we can have some resin in there. And if we need to fill some more, we'll do it later on. But we have our resin in there, so we're going to continue. And so now it's going to ask us for our Wayland connection. We're just going to skip this for now. I'll do that later. It's asking me to download an application. We'll do that a little bit later. All right, so now we're in single mode. Because we're just using a regular build plate. Let's see if there is anything on this stored normally. No, there isn't. So let's grab our USB stick and see what we have on the drive itself. So I will say one of the problems that I have with this machine already, side-loaded USB. But as always, I've been accustomed to this, okay? If you guys use resin printers, they come in all different shapes and sizes. They come in all weird configurations. So I ended up buying packs of LUSB converters. So essentially I can take this and turn it on an angle. It'll still be projected out, but it'll be on an angle. So let me check chat here really quick. Let's see. What's up, 3DHP? How's it going, Jerry? Yeah, I think they have an exhaust fan. I like the simple lockdown way better than the knobs. Absolutely agree. I like the locking mechanisms on this printer already. What's up, BK3D? How's it going, bud? Apologies, I am slightly under the weather. I think my daughter is getting me sick. So, all right. Let's go ahead and check out our test. So we have test 1. We have a re-ref. So for those who don't know what a re-ref is, that is an exposure test. So let's say I didn't use the Anycubic resin here. I used some ridiculous resin, like an elastic. Okay? Elastic resins are very hard to dial in, so I would run a re-ref, and that will expose at different levels and tell me the best exposure time to print with that resin. Kind of like a temperature setting for those who print with FDM printers. It's essentially our version of that, right? So that'll tell me what I need to print that exposure time to get the best results. And I can dial it in and fine tune it even more if I want to, but you should always run an exposure test. If you are switching resins, getting a brand new bottle of resin, it's always best practices. So it looks like we have a funnel, a drip bracket, and that is it. So since I am a big avid person of drip brackets, so essentially what it should do is there's a mechanism that should come on to the top here, and it should allow the build plate to drip off back into the vat. So that's a drip bracket. So we're going to go ahead and print this. And so it's copying over to the printer. It's verifying the file. It is detecting the printer status. And we are now setting down that platform detection. And now it's going to do a residue detection. Not really sure why I would do residue detection, because the next step says resin detection, which essentially is the same thing. Maybe it's residue. Okay, so from what I'm gathering, the residue is the actual difference between the FEP and the actual LCD screen. So I think it's trying to detect on whether or not there's like condensation essentially between the vat and the LCD screen, which is a common thing that happens with resin printing. I personally have never had an issue with that, but I know some people have. It's just a random thing that happens to some people. So. Okay. So now it's detecting the residue. And I'm sure you can probably turn these pre-checks off. But if you want the best results for your printing experience, obviously keep them on. So residue detection and resin detection automatically went in. Now it is leveling test. So now it's just checking to make sure that everything is leveled and it's ready to rock and roll. And then it should do resin heating. So my guess is that's a resin heater on the back. So now it's heating. Why it's lifting up, I don't know. So it looks like it's set at 25 degrees Celsius, which that's a good amount. I'm not a good person for conversion, so, forgive me. But I will say that normally I usually leave mine at about 27 degrees, even in the cold here in Chicago. So that should be pretty good. So it looks like we might have some wear and tear on the actual hood on the front here. So maybe that's why they sent me an extra hood, because there is a little bit of, looks almost like a little mouse took some nubblies from it. So Good. Please stay warm and safe this weekend, right? It is already dropping temperature pretty quickly. It's about 10 degrees outside. And we're expecting to be at about a negative 11 tomorrow morning before I go to bed or go to work. So my guess is it kind of mixes it, so it allows it to properly heat all of the resin. It's my assumption. I don't know if that's actually the case. But we're at 24.53 out of 25. So we got just a little bit more to go with this resin heating system. Let's move this up and over here. And I'm going to sit my lazy butt down because I am too old to be standing for that long period of time. So this base is kind of like a composite plastic, it seems like. And it looks like it is like kind of a modular system almost. I don't know. It's very strange. It looks cheap, but it's definitely not. It's a more quality plastic than I've seen on most resin printers in a while. Even like an industrial one, like this would match close to it. So, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Let's see what we got here. So we're at 24.77. So again, you could probably disable this for those people who are not in cold climates. This is probably not needed. And to be honest, with the hood open, it's probably not helping that we're in ambient temperatures, because it is nice down here. And I do have my little heater on here just in case that needed to happen. But obviously, you know, you want it in a more heated environment. But for those who print in a garage, you're probably going to be closing this thing and using it that way. So let's see if we can initiate a little bit better of a temp doing it this way. $24.98. Oh, nope. Almost there. Oh, we can skip it. Ah. All right. So we do have an intelligent mode here. It says intelligent light off, intelligent release, and resin heating. So we can go ahead and click into this. Light off settings, exposure settings. So we can change all of our settings on the fly if we really need to. Well, most of the settings, it looks like we are blocked out of some of it. But yeah, so it looks like this print is going to take us about 2 hours and 23 minutes to complete. It's fairly quick, 780 layers. So we can go from 2D to 3D. We can change the view of what it's doing. So we can look at the actual view of the model itself, or we can change to the actual imagery of what's being placed on the screen at this exact time. So what's this? This is a real-time data display. So this will tell you the force value. I'll be honest, I'm not really sure how many people that will be, usable to. If you are a big production style printer person for resin printing, that would probably be beneficial to you. But for me, that, an average user, this is probably a mood point at best. So yeah, not really too much to go off else on here. Let's see what we can check out here in terms of statistics and information about this printer, so I can relay it to you guys. Photon P1. All right, so that is a M7 Pro, not a P1. There we go. This is insanely quiet. Like, all I hear is a fan. It's a faint fan at that. But, like, I don't even hear the printer moving up and down. Usually you hear some sort of release from the FEP. Oh, there we go. I spoke too soon. All right, so just to give some information here. So there is the Kickstarter still going on for this printer. There's exactly 17 days as of making this video left on the Kickstarter. This Kickstarter has already surpassed its standard pledging. So their standard pledging was $64,000, and they're already at $1.4 million, if I'm reading that correctly. Yes, 1.446. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Holy cow. Wow. That's, wow. I'm sorry, I'm just blown away. All right, so what it's boasting about is an industrial grade prosumer resin printer, which, to be in all honesty, that is exactly what this seems like. Like I said, there is some plastic on this printer that makes it look a little cheap, but it is more of a composite ABS plastic, so it's a heavier duty plastic than you normally see. Most of the resin printers that you see on the market have like cheaper, flimsier plastic. It's more due to weight saving and cost savings out of anything, because obviously they want to try and give you the best bang for your buck. But it seems like Anycubic is somehow doing this while providing you with a nice quality printer, in my opinion. I like the entire look of this printer. It is very industrial looking. Compared to most of the standard printers out there that people know and love. So I'm excited to see more about the technology that's built into this, like the intelligent light source, the release, that screen protector is very, very interesting to me, and I'd love to put it through its paces to see what that is all about, because that is something that Anycubic seems to be the industry leader with in terms of consumer grade printers, is coming out with newer tech that has to do with like release films and screen protectors. Case in point, when they brought out the M7 or M3 Max. The M3 Max was the first printer on the market to actually come with a NFEP film, or possibly a PFA style film, whereas one side was very glossy and the other side was like a matte finish, almost like a frosted finish. It wasn't see-through, which nobody had ever really seen before unless you were on the industrial side. You'd seen it here and there, but it wasn't widely used because on the industrial side, they don't really care about speed. You know, they just care about the quality of the print overall of anything. So it was very interesting to see that. And the same thing here with that that textured screen protector. So, like I said, that does, you can get the perforated steel build plates on there. What that does is it helps with releasing. So if you're trying to do faster prints, that'll allow you to disperse the liquid even faster and allow you to print at a faster speed. I'm not saying that a standard build plate can't do the same thing, but your chances or your risks of having failures is going to greatly increase, because you got to understand, resin is a compression system, right? So you have your liquid vat, you have your build plate, and your build plate comes down and essentially it squishes your resin out of the way. Whereas a perforated build plate will not do that. It will actually, bring it up and disperse it all over instead of just pushing it out from side to side like that. So you have more of a centralized resin than you do like having to wait for it to come back. So it makes it a little bit easier for resin printing, and it also expands the life of the FEP because you're not putting a lot of pressure on the FEP film over a period of time. So I'll be honest, I think that's a minuscule argument, but it's still a very valid argument that can be made. And if somebody who's consistently printing and printing at high speeds, probably a perforated build plate would be a little bit more beneficial. Also, if you're doing thicker resins, that's going to help tremendously with thicker resins, like a ceramic style resins, an elastic resin. Those are very, very case use specific resins, and they don't really react very well to a flat style build plate. So I think that would be more beneficial to the user who's using higher end resins as well. So we have the Light Turbo 4.0, which essentially is a Cobb style light system. I personally am not a big fan of Cobb light systems, but they seem to have gotten quite a lot better over the years with the technology that's grown with them. I mean, that's just par for the course. So, I mean, they're good, but still a step down from what I'd like. I like the LED source lights like that, and I like more of a integral light source where it's shined onto a sheet of glass or mirror, actually, and it's projected onto the screen. That gives you the best light source, in my opinion. As I was talking about the ball screw that's on here, it's a slightly different ball screw than I'm used to seeing, but it's still a ball screw in general. So that provides more of a fluid printing process and more easier actions going up and down. Again, kind of the smoothness, right? Whereas like the old style were basically like a lead screw, right? So very, very minuscule. It would have to go up like 3 or 4 times in order to go down. And it would take like double the time, right? So it also is a time saving feature as well. So it's nice to have that on the printer. Let's check chat here. Kitten was under the table. Yeah, this is her domain. So ACF film. Yes, thank you. Thank you. That was what I was talking about. ACF film. Sorry. At that point in time, it was like Anycubic came out with their FEP film, and then another company came out with a different style FEP film, and then another company came out with their version of that FEP film. So it was like everything was very different, and I couldn't grasp who was what. At that time, there was FEP film, there was NFEP, there was ACF, there's TSP. Like, there's so many different variations of it, and each one has their pros and cons. And to be in all honesty, most of the ones that are new, that are fast, they do have one big downfall, is the fact that they lose their tensity, their tensile strength very quickly. So I don't particularly like the newer films. I prefer just a standard FET film or even NFET. That's about as far as I think any user needs to go. And they just seem to last a lot longer. Like I can get 3 times more prints out of a FET and an NFET film than I can a TSP and an ACF film using the same exact printer. So just my 2 cents of being a user who obviously has quite a few resin printers. So again, it might be user case scenario, but for me, that's just what I've seen. So, all right. Moving along. So we have 1,000 milliliter temperature controlled resin vat. So essentially it can heat up the vat up to 40 degrees if it needs to, even a full vat, which that's quite impressive. I'll be honest, it's probably going to take quite a bit, as we saw that it was taking a little bit of time to even just get up to 25 degrees Celsius. The Anycubic heating systems with their vats, they're a good idea, but they fall short if you're someone who's going to be using a resin printer in a cold climate, unfortunately. So just straightforward, if anybody's looking to use these in their garages during the winter time, I would highly suggest getting a temp controlled heater. I have one for my big machine, and it does wonders. It regulates the temperatures all throughout the year, be it summer or winter, and it just does great things. Again, the vat works. It just doesn't work as well as it needs to for some of those people who are in more colder climates than say me. Like I have, this room is set at 72 degrees, which is fairly hot. And you saw it struggling for that little bit just to get up to 25 degrees from what I think it started at 23 degrees, if I remember, 22 degrees. That's right. So, I mean, just to go up 3 degrees, it took quite a bit. So it falls a little bit short, but again, it still works. So wave release technology. So this was one of the things that I saw that kind of caught my eye. And this might go hand in hand with that screen protector. I keep forgetting the name of that. So that might help with that, and that might be their release technology. So again, I'll have to put it through its paces and see how it is. But it's very interesting to see that. So I'm quite interested on how that's going to play out and what it's actually going to do to help with it. So just looking at it, that's what it's showing to help out with the dual colors. And obviously we're gonna do some printing with the dual color setup. I'll probably have like a clear resin and a solid resin. That's one of the things I'm curious to see how they did this. Now, I know that Anycubic uses a more proprietary, a more proprietary board than most of the other consumer printers out there, which mostly use Sheet2Box base boards. They use their own flavor of boards. They always have, always will, as far as I can tell. And I think this is the same thing with this. I could be wrong, but just glancing at the back of this, kind of peeking inside, it looks to be that it is a non-Sheet2 board system. So for those like me who are Sheet2Box users, this might be a little bit before we can get the proper controls to get this to work. Possibly might not even get the controls for this to work 100% that we needed to through Sheet2Box. So just giving you a heads up. It's one of the downsides of Sheet2Box that I absolutely loathe, but I'm grandfathered into Sheet2Box. I've been using it for quite some time, even before there was any other slicers out there. The only other slicers were proprietary, and they were just god-awful. Oh my goodness. So obviously there's more flavors out there for everybody to enjoy. So choose what you want. I know Lychee's a very, very good slicer for those who are new into the market, and they constantly update things. But if you want something that offers a little bit more freedom for a free version, the Shitu box is just slightly better than the Lychee free version. Just saying. So yeah, with that being said, it'll be very interesting to see how they utilize that technology, because what happens sometimes is, let's say we have an elastic resin in one side of the vat and a standard resin in the other side. Well, a standard resin, most of the time, now the formulations can allow you to print at 1.8 seconds to 2.5 seconds, you know, variations depending on what you're using. At the very highest, 2.5, whereas an elastic resin might start at 10 seconds. So the variations on that are going to be very interesting to see how it works out, and that's really what I'm aiming to kind of showcase a little bit, is the how it does with that case scenario. It's going to be very specific case use scenarios. Because I highly doubt that anybody's going to be doing that type of stuff where they're printing a flexible resin and a standard resin. You know, they might be doing a flexible and a nylon, something like that. So, but that opens up a whole new ball game for a lot of things, where you can design something like an O-ring with a flexible center. And that way you can kind of merge the two, or print those two pieces at the same time. Or like, let's say you need a washer and you need a flexible washer because you are using it with a some sort of liquid, and you need that flexible washer to stop all of the liquid from essentially oozing out. You can print those two at the same time. So there are specific case uses for those type of things. And we're going to showcase those, because that's really where it's going to shine for that type of setup out of anything, I think. Or for those people who are looking to do two different colors, like let's take a Pokemon, for example. Okay, I want to print a Squirtle in obviously like an aqua blue color, because that's what Squirtle is essentially is. So I can print that on one vat, and then I want to do a yellow Pikachu in the other vat. Now, essentially, they're going to be the same exposure time because they're both colored, cleared resins. But I can do those both at the same time and essentially double my printability right off the bat. The only downside is now you're forced to use a smaller build plate. So there are some trade-offs on what you're doing with that, but that would be a perfect case scenario for someone who is printing miniatures or printing glass-like looking objects. Again, going back to the whole Pokemon style thing, where you can print a Squirtle and a Pikachu. I think I said Squirrel's name wrong the last time I was talking, but I could be wrong. So anyway, or you can do a Charmander and Pikachu, or any other combination of that type of stuff, you know. A Pokeball, you know, you can do a white color in one vat, a red color in the other, and put them together, and then there you go. You have a Pokeball in one go, instead of printing that out and maybe just painting the top of it, or swapping vats out to do the other top, and then having to wait and everything, whereas you can pretty much do those two colors at the same time. So again, there's very specific case uses for those, but I don't see them being like that far out of the realm of usability. You know, at first I was like, this is kind of a gimmick, and, you know, they're not the first ones to do something like this. They are the first ones to allow it to do two different types of material. And again, that's very interesting to me if it actually works. So we'll see how it goes. But Frozen was actually the first one to do the dual vat system way back a couple years ago with the Frozen. It was the predecessor to the Mega God, I couldn't think of what it was. So, what? Did you just come up here and use the washroom? No. So yeah, sorry. All right, let's check chat here. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, many companies had their own name for it. Creality was calling it Pictor. Yeah. All the resin printing companies take their own avenue on what they are going to do with technological advancements. And I'll be completely honest here. Creality is probably the top tier in terms of technological advancements and getting you a good price for what you get. I can't believe that would even come out of my mouth, but Creality actually makes one of the better consumer resin printers out there that I've seen for the best bang for your buck. Like the best out there. Now, I cannot say anything about their new Hallet printer because I have not checked that out. But in previous years with their other printers, the Hallet series, that was the case. So they had the integral light source, they had heating systems, refill and reclaim systems, which was unheard of. Like crazy, crazy stuff. But hey, you know, this is more of a basic printer. You know, there's not all the bells and whistles on it, but it's got a lot of cool tech packed into it that kind of replaces those other things that people may or may not use a lot. To be honest, I don't use the auto refill systems as much as really any time. It's pretty rare. Maybe on the larger printers, I can utilize that because, you know, I'm printing big things and those vats only hold so much. But on a printer like this size, there's no reason to have an auto refill system. There really is not. If you're printing something that's over 1 kilo of resin, that's quite ridiculous. Or you're not understanding how you're printing and how you can save a little bit of extra money and possibly time on how to print something either hollowed or printed on a different angle and make it a little bit easier on your life. So, what's up, Lee? How's it going? I'm sorry I did not see you guys. Oh, not too many people on the Tiki Talks here. But we do have quite a bit of people on the YouTubes. What's up, everybody? I'm glad to see people are still around. So for those who are just joining and are wondering what's going on and what has been going on with me, so I've been kind of on a hiatus here. I've just been burnout, to be honest. I haven't had a drive to do any of this stuff. And I kind of took a leap this past year, the beginning of this year. And I signed a contract with a well-known company on the internet called Tom's Hardware, and I will be doing their resin articles for them moving forward for the foreseeable future until they say, hey, you know, you're not cool anymore and peace out, or, you know, resin somehow whittles away, which is a good possibility. You know, we're kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the community. You know, nobody really digs us, unfortunately. But we're definitely cooler than, you know, everybody else. And we started it all, by the way. So look it up. But yeah, this will be my first actual review on Tom's Hardware. I'll probably try and get it out before the end of the month. It's going to be a stretch just because this was delayed. I was supposed to have this about a week ago, but some communication lines got crossed and it got sent to the wrong person, and it's a whole disaster, and we got it all figured out, and obviously it's here now, so we'll do some more testing with it. But there's a lot to do with this printer and a lot of information to put out there and, you know, give my pros and cons. But before I do that, obviously I need to put it through its paces, because I don't want to just give you guys a review that says, yeah, this is a great printer and this is what I think of it. And then I come to find out that, you know, a month down the road, everything that I said was either too good to be true or it was good to be true, you know? So I want to make sure that this is right and you guys get the right information here. So, but we're going to let this thing print. I'll update some videos with the progress and, you know, if it even printed. Who knows? Maybe it might not. Because to be in all honesty, we probably should have done a re-ref before anything. But hey, you know what? Screw it. In good old-fashioned, we just hit print and let it rock and roll. So we'll see how it goes, and like I said, we'll put it through its paces with the dual color, dual material system. That is really what I think is going to be the focal point of this printer, along with that release system. I think that's very, very interesting that how they are thinking that is going to help and help work. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, we'll get some more information from Anycubic about the other hood that we got in. I have a feeling it's just a replacement hood because, like I said, on the front bottom here, it looks like it's kind of chipped away a little bit. I don't know if that was a manufacturing issue or what's going on, but we'll see. I did not check the other one to see if it was better. Yeah, that one's definitely clean. No problems there. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, for right now. If you guys aren't liking and following, please do so. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. But my initial goal is to trying to get to 10,000 followers. With your help, that would be great. And all it is just, you know, just give us a follow. You don't even have to put on the notifications. It doesn't matter if you guys watch us. Just give us a follow if you like the stuff. So, and again, if you don't, that's fine too. I thank you guys for stopping in and, you know, chit-chatting and checking us out. And yeah, we'll basically call that a night for right now. And again, keep an eye on the channels, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, the groups, and we'll post up our printing experience with this. And then don't forget to keep an eye out on Tom's Hardware for our initial review. So I thank you guys all for stopping in and chit-chatting. Till next time, guys, happy printing.